Hello, friends, and welcome back to Two for Tuesday, that awesome open tag brought to you by Tom over at Knife Delights. And today I'm going to be looking at a couple different types of folding hunters. One is from Buck and one is from Case. Yeah, you probably already guessed what type of knives they're going to be, but still, they're there. I'd also ask that at this time that you keep Tom and his wife in your prayers. His wife is dealing with some things that unfortunately put her in the hospital, and just she is going to be doing awesome, but it's going to take some time for everything. Thanks again for just keeping her in your prayers, and Tom in your prayers too. This has to be hard on my friend. Okay, here we go. First off, I want to talk about Case, the Case Folding Hunter. This right here is a Case Folding Hunter. Case came out with this knife in the 1940s. It had already been out in the 1920s by other companies and stuff, but Case decided to join in on the game in the 1940s, or at least from the information that I found, that's when they came out with it. Um, this knife here is a 2023. There's the tang stamp. Oops, get that to where you can read it a little bit easier. There you go. 7 dot. Beautiful. I really, truly like the main blade. It's a beautiful clip point. Really, really, really good for just about anything that needs to be done. Let's get out the secondary blade because I struggle with this one. It's not that the knife is hard to do, it's that my fingernails are hard to do. Should have brought my knife tick with me. But those are the things you think about after you cut the snot out of yourself because you're trying to mess around with this knife when you shouldn't be doing it that way. Okay, here's the tang stamp. There's a 2265 pattern, SS Super Sport. Look at this beautiful secondary blade. Just a nice upswept. No, it's not upswept. This is straight blade. Just a beautiful blade. Does a great job. These feel great in your hand. The one thing I will say is, even with the secondary blade out, where the hump on the primary blade fits, it goes like between your fingers. So it feels okay. It's not my favorite thing, but it feels okay. But overall, just an absolutely beautiful knife. This is the brown synthetic, if I'm recalling right. Yeah, brown synthetic. Build quality is phenomenal on this knife. Case did a very good. Even both the blades are right down Broadway, and pretty much a little off, but mostly straight. But yeah, just a beautiful build, beautiful, beautiful build. It does come with a sheath, a belt sheath. I don't have that out. I should have probably got that out. Didn't think about it in time. Um, but great, great, great large knife. Now, we're going to get to the Buck 110. The knife that, in my opinion, pretty much made Buck. I mean, this is a, how do I want to say it? I know they had success with other knives, but this knife is a, what's the word I'm looking for? This was the knife that put them on the map for sure. That might be a good way of saying it. This design came out in 1963. This knife right here is a T, which makes 2003. Beautiful knife. I've cleaned this one up a little bit. It's started to tarnish back a little bit because that's what brass does. But just an absolute beautiful knife. The blade has been sharpened a little bit, as you can tell. Love the nail nick. Love the locking feature. That's one of the things that, for me, puts the Buck 110 above the Case Folding Hunter. Even though I love the aesthetics of the Case Folding Hunter, but I like the aesthetics of this knife. In fact, this is one of my favorite knives. Honestly, well, in folding hunters, this is my favorite knife. I'm not going to lie. My favorite knife pattern is a trapper, and that might be why I lean towards the Case or the two blade folding hunter, is because it has two blades, kind of like a trapper. But when it comes to folding hunters, this right here is my happy place in life. This lockback is just phenomenal. Great design. Now, I want to show you something that I thought was interesting. Check this out. Look at those blade shapes. They are almost identical. They are, if this one hadn't been sharpened down a little bit, the same length. The cutting edge, just both of them are very functional, usable knives with like this type of blade. The disadvantage that the Buck 110 has over the case is if you dull this blade and you don't have a sharpener with you or a way to sharpen it, even on a river rock or something like that, you got a dull knife and there's nothing you can do until you get home, back to your hunting cabin, back wherever you're going. This, so that kind of puts you out. Um, so, that's a disadvantage on this one. This also comes with a leather sheath like the Buck or the case folding hunter does for your belt. Trying to think of more positives. Positives is the lockup. You got a great lockup. You got that famous Buck 420 stainless steel. That is somehow they get so much out of 420, it's not even funny. They're famous for it. Literally, they're famous for it. So that's something to be said. There's something to be said too when you have this in your hand and it's locked, that you can't close it on yourself, especially if you're doing something that you cut. There's no chance of the blade popping back on you. So that is something to be said. Like I said, a disadvantage is you have one blade. You got to be careful, but you should be careful when you're using a knife anyways. But that's definitely a disadvantage for that knife. Advantages for the case style folding hunter. You got two blades. That right there is a insta-vantage as far as I'm concerned. You got two blades that will definitely hook you up. If you dull one, you got the second one. No big deal. You're good to go. Um, uh, Disadvantage about the case, the blade doesn't lock up. If you're cutting something, either blade doesn't lock up. I mean, it has the walk and talk, which makes it a safe knife. But if for some reason you slip and happen and you catch that, it could, even though it take a lot, it could come back and cut your hand. Um, Another advantage of the case is it's a little, believe it or not, even with two blades, it is a little bit thinner than the Buck 110. It's hard to believe, but it is. Even with two blades, it is thinner. A single blade is even thinner because then you only have one backspring, backspring and blade. My mind gets going and I get ahead of my mouth, and my mouth tries to, yeah. So you almost only had one blade, but yeah. Anyways, but I just felt like today I just wanted to bring out. Tom loves buck knives. He is like almost an encyclopedia on them. It's awesome. If you need to know something about buck, he's the man to talk to for sure. There's others in the community too. I know he also likes case knives, definitely, because he's got a wonderful collection of case knives too. But I just really wanted to bring something out to share today that, in my opinion, honored Tom. You know, uh, this right here, the Buck 110 is just, it's so dependable. It's there. It's a good piece of cutlery. Might not be absolutely perfect, but it's a great piece of cutlery. The case, Folding Hunter. Beautiful, exquisite lines. Honestly, the lines, if you're just looking for aesthetics, this wins in my opinion. This is a good looking knife, don't get me wrong, but aesthetically, that little swell right there and everything in the case, just that gets me personally. Even though my favorite Folding Hunter is the Buck, just when it comes down to this pure love of the shape and the way it looks, the case wins on that one, in my opinion. But yeah, I just wanted to come out here, try to put out a decent video, uh, show Tom some support, and just if I made in the beginning sound weird, when I asked you to pray for Tom, it's just he's my friend. I consider him a brother. The other day, my wife and I was talking, and I said, "Brother Tom," and she's like, "Why do you call him brother?" And I said, "Because he's my friend." And then I sat there a minute and I thought, and I was like, "Because I wish he was my big brother." And she's like, "What?" And I go, "Yeah." I go, I do. He's a good guy. I'm sure he has his moments of fame, just like all of us do, but he's a good guy. He seems to embrace life and enjoy life. And that would be cool to have as a big brother. Well, with that being said, Tom, I love you. I love your wife. Prayers going to both of you and your family. Of course, it's got to be hard on your children and grandchildren. But we will get through this. You have the support of the knife community. I know that for sure. If there's anything you need, get in touch with me. Um, I thank you all so much. You guys, everybody watching this, you guys are awesome. I appreciate you all. And remember, when it comes to folding hunters, these are your two classic designs right here, baby. And I love them both. Love the 110 a little bit more, but I love them both. They're both wonderful classic designs. Um, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Live long, prosper, and collect your own way.